Once a time ago, a king had a daughter who was beautiful beyond all measure, but so proud and haughty withal that no suitor was good enough for her. She sent away one after the other, and she ridiculed them all. Once the king made a great feast, and he invited thereto from afar and near all the young men likely to marry. They were all marshaled in a row according to their rank and standing. First came the kings, then the grand dukes, then the princes, the earls, the barons, and then the gentry. Then the king's daughter was led through the ranks, but to each one she had some objection. One was too fat. "Oh, a wine barrel," she said. Another was too tall. "Long and thin, has little in." The third one was too short. "Short, short, and thick as never quick." The fourth one was too pale as death. And the fifth one was too red. "A fighting cock he is." The sixth one was not straight enough. "Oh, a green log dried behind the stove." She had something to say against each and every one. Oh, but she made herself especially merry over a good king who stood quite high up in the row, and whose chin had grown a little crooked. "Why, look," she cried, and she laughed. "He has a chin like a thrush's beak." Oh, from that time on, he got the name of King Throstlebeard. But the old king, when he saw that his daughter did nothing but mock people, well, she acted like she despised all of the suitors who were gathered there. Oh, the king, her father, he grew very angry, and he swore that she should have for her husband the very first beggar that would come to his door. Well, a few days after, a fiddler came and sang beneath the windows, trying to earn a few pennies, I suppose. When the king had heard him playing, why, he said, "Let him come up." And so the fiddler came in his dirty, ragged clothes. He sang before the king and his daughter, and, well, when he ended, he asked for a trifling gift. The king said, "Your song has pleased me so well that I will give you my daughter here to be your wife." The king's daughter shuddered, but the king said, "I've taken an oath, daughter, to give you to the very first beggar, and I will keep my word." All she could say was nothing, because it would all be in vain. A priest was brought, and she had to let herself be wedded to the fiddler right on the spot. When that was done, the king said, "Oh, now it is no longer proper for you, a beggar woman, to stay in my palace. Now you just need to go somewhere else with your beggar husband." The beggarman led her away by the hand, and she was obliged to walk away on foot with him. And when they came to a large forest, she asked, "Oh, to whom does this beautiful forest belong to?" "Why, it belongs to King Throstlebeard. If you would have taken him, it would have been yours." "Oh, no, unhappy girl that I am. If I hadn't but taken King Throstlebeard." Afterwards, they came to a fine meadow, and she asked again, "Oh, to whom does this beautiful green meadow belong?" "Why, it belongs to King Throstlebeard. If you had married him, it would have been yours." "Oh, unhappy girl that I am. If I had only taken King Throstlebeard." We came to a large town, and she asked again, "To whom does this fine town belong?" "Why, it belongs to King Throstlebeard. Why, if you had taken him, it would be of yours now, but you know." "Oh, unhappy girl that I am. If I had only but taken King Throstlebeard. It does not please me," said the fiddler, "to have you always wishing for a different husband. Am I not good enough for you?" Well, at last they came to a very small hut, and she said, "Oh, goodness! What a small house this is! To whom does this miserable, tiny hovel belong?" The fiddler answered, "Oh, why, that is my house, wife, and now it is yours. It's gonna be where we live together." She had to stoop in order to get into the low hanging door frame. "Where are the servants?" "What servants?" answered the beggar man. You gotta do yourself what you wish to be done. Just make a fire at once, wife, and set water on to cook my supper. I am quite tired." Oh, but the queen's daughter, she didn't know anything about lighting fires or cooking or anything. The beggar man had to lend a hand himself to get anything fairly done. And when they had finished their scanty meal, well, they went to bed. But he forced her to get up quite early the next morning in order to look after the house. Now, for a few days they lived in this way, as well as might be, and come to the end of all their provisions they did. Well, this is when the man said, "Wife, We cannot go on any longer eating and drinking here and earning nothing. You must make some baskets. He went out and he cut some willows and he brought them home. And then she began to make baskets. But the tough willows, why, they wounded her delicate hands. I see this will not do, said the man. You had better spin then. Perhaps you can do something better. You know, with a spinning wheel, let's say. She sat down and she tried to spin. Oh, but that hard thread, it soon cut her soft fingers. It cut him so much that the blood ran down. I see, said the man. You are fit for no sort of work. I have made a bad bargain with you, I can see. I will try to make a business with pots and earthenware. Now all you have to do is sit in the marketplace and sell this earthenware. Alas, I hope you can do that. Oh, well. She sat there for a moment. Oh, alas, she thought. If any of the people from my father's kingdom come to the market and they see me sitting there selling crockery, oh, they will mock me. Oh, it was no use, though. No matter what she said to her husband, she had to yield, unless she chose to die of hunger, that is. For the first time, she succeeded well. For the people, they were glad to buy the woman's wares. Oh, because she was so good looking, and well, they paid her what she asked. Many even gave her money and left the pots with her as well. And so they lived on what she had earned as long as it lasted. And then the husband, he brought another big lot of crockery home for her to sell. Oh, and with this she sat down at the corner of the marketplace. Oh, and all the crockery set around her, ready for sale. But suddenly there came a drunken soldier galloping along. Why, he rode right up amongst the pots so that they all were broken into 1,000 bits. She began to weep and did not know what to do. She was so scared. Alas, what will happen to me? She cried. What will my husband say about this? She ran home and she told him of her misfortune. Oh, who else would seat herself at the corner of a marketplace with crockery? Said the man. Leave off your crying. I can see very well that you're not fit for any ordinary work. I've made it a practice to know that you're not going to be easy to find work for, my girl. Well, I've been up to the king's palace and have asked whether they cannot find a place for a kitchen maid. Well, they've promised me to take you. In that way, you will get your food for nothing. The king's daughter was now a kitchen maid and had to be at the cooks beck and call and do the dirtiest of work. In both her pockets she fastened a little jar, in which she took home her share of the leavings, and upon which they lived. It happened that the wedding of the king's eldest son was to be celebrated, and so the poor woman sat up and placed herself by the door of the hall to look on. And when the candles were all lit, and the people, each more beautiful than the other, entered, all was full of pomp and splendor, she thought of Lot with a sad heart, and she cursed the pride and haughtiness which had humbled her and brought her to so great a poverty. I smell of the delicious dishes which were being taken in and out reached her nostrils, and now and then the servants, they threw a few morsels of them right to her hand, and she put in her little jar to take it home. All at once the king's son entered, clothed in velvet and silk, with gold chains upon his neck. And when he saw the beautiful woman standing by the door, why, he seized her by the hand, and would have danced with her, but she refused, and she shrank with fear, and she pulled her arm away. She saw that it was King Throstlebeard, her suitor, whom she had driven away with scorn and ridicule. Her struggles, though, were of no avail. He drew her into the hallway by the string by which her pockets were full of food, and the little jar, it fell out of her pocket and broke on the ground. All the people saw it. There arose general laughter and diversion. Oh, she was so ashamed that she would rather have been 1,000 fathoms below the ground than standing right there. She sprang to the door and would have run away, but on the stairs a man caught her and brought her back. And when she looked at him, it was King Throstlebeard again. He said to her kindly, "Do not be afraid. I and the fiddler who has been living with you in that wretched hovel are one and the same. I love you, and for the love of you I disguised myself. And I also was the drunken soldier who rode through all your crockery. This was all done to humble your proud spirit, and to punish you for the insolence in which you mocked me. But I love you. I love you." Then she wept bitterly and said, "I have done great wrong, and I am not worthy to be your wife." But he said, "Be comforted. The evil days are over now. Now we will celebrate our wedding. Then all the maids in waiting came and put on her most splendid clothing. And her father and his whole court came and wished her happiness in her marriage with King Throstlebeard. And now the joy began in earnest. I wish you and I had been there too to see it. I certainly do.